We're back.
We're back. Look who's here.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
look
Oh,
who's
wait,
here.
wait,
Who
stay right
would've
there. Stay
thought?
right there. Stay right there.
Oh, yes. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, Alex.
Hi,
I'm sorry.
Alex is here, yes.
Alex is here.
Yep.
And we've had Alex everywhere tonight, haven't we?
Yeah, he's been up at the green room and he's gone to the cream stand. So
He's everywhere.
but he has to go to work.
He does have to go to work. If for those who don't know, Alex is in California, and he sent that to his mother for Mother's Day, which I think was just the neatest thing. In other words, Alex was here for Mother's Day.
Oh, and the TV land and web land, that's not your son, my son and Cindy's son.
That's right, yes. Yeah, obviously I had nothing to do with it.
No.
Obviously.
Oh.
But let's introduce our guest.
Yes, now this guy is a hotshot.
Yes, he
and
is.
he has such a wonderful name.
Yes, he does, and he
does,
doesn't like
yeah.
it, but we don't care.
No, he does. No, he
doesn't like it.
No, he likes his first name.
Oh, yeah, he likes his first name. That's right.
Right. You don't talk about the right. All right.
sorry.
So I want to introduce, and now you have to applaud,
Whether you want to or not.
Chef Anthony.
Chef Anthony.
Ploof.
Ploof.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
I'm sorry, Anthony. You knew that was going to happen, didn't you?
I did.
Thanks for
Thank
coming.
you.
It was great to have you here. Really.
Thank you.
It's nice. It's nice.
Now, Anthony,
Yes.
you are in charge of the culinary classes,
Correct.
the courses over at the Essex. Wow, that's really no. I mean, have you ever been to the Essex?
Formerly known as the Inn at Essex, I
We
think.
don't talk about that formally.
Yeah.
It's now the Essex.
Well, I know, but then people know what we're talking about.
Well, not the people out there in TV land.
Yes, they do. They will, won't they, Anthony?
They'll
Yes,
know.
they will.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So you've been there for how long?
On and off for about 5 years, doing a bunch of different positions. So I worked in the restaurants for a while, and now I'm doing the Cook Academy part.
And you have children's programs in the summertime?
Yeah, kids camp starts up in about 3 weeks or so. So it's a week-long camp. They do everything from help raise our chickens and pigs to pick vegetables from the gardens. They use all of that stuff to cook and build their own lunches and learn about where their food comes from, cooking healthy, a lot of fun stuff like that. So
Great. And you
Yeah.
also have for the adults.
yes,
classes.
every night. Our standard cooking classes, they're really great for couples, anyone that wants to learn how to cook. It's a great date night activity too. So you come in and they start around 5 o'clock, and you actually cook all the food yourself. So we teach you how to do everything. It's very hands-on. And for the first hour or so, you're right in the thick of it prepping the food, and then you take your apron off, enjoy a glass of wine, and a 3-course dinner at the end. So
Just a glass of wine?
1 glass, 2. You can start drinking right at the beginning when you get there if you'd like.
That's my group. These are my peeps. These are my peeps. And you do give a discount if they want to spend the night because they can't.
Oh,
drive
yeah,
home.
of course. Yeah,
there you go.
There you go.
Yep.
Let's
What's
take a
better?
show up there. Let's do a show up there.
There, that's it. That's
Rent a
what we'll
whole
do.
wing.
Let's get a busload. We'll go up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
great.
You drive.
I'll drive.
Okay. All right. So what's the first recipe?
So today we're going to make the
pretty
first
thing.
one. We're going to do dessert first because that's the best thing, right?
Yes, yes.
So amaretto sabayon, which have you ever had sabayon before?
Pardon me?
Have you ever had sabayon before? So it's like a French custard made out of egg yolks. So the first thing that I'm going to have you do is whisk some eggs.
That
so
I
we have
probably can do.
8 egg yolks, and then you're just going to go to town and start whisking. And while you do that, I'm going to add about 4 tablespoons of sugar.
Noisy.
And you want to keep whisking until it gets really thick and heavy, almost the consistency of like a pudding. And that's the basis of a sabayon. So what we're going to do for a little bit of flavoring is add some amaretto liqueur. So just a little bit, about 4 tablespoons or so. Just a little.
It cooks off. You could add more.
Now, as you're whisking, you're going to start turning the bowl like this, and then
Okay.
keep going in big circles like this really fast and aggressively. So you want to stop. You don't want the egg yolks to cook and solidify
Okay.
and then make this kind of sweet alcohol-flavored scrambled egg. That wouldn't be very good.
And that would be good. Who says it wouldn't be good? What are you doing?
Turn
Yep.
the bowl.
So keep it rotating. There you go.
Oh, all right. Okay.
There you go.
Look
Perfect.
at that.
Look at that.
Don't you remember episode
And if we
16
could
when
turn
they
the-
taught me how to? What?
We're just going to turn the heat up just a little bit here.
Oh, let me turn up the heat on
All
grill.
right. Just a little bit.
Okay.
So to plate this up, we're just going to serve it over some fresh fruit. So we have some raspberries here. Arm getting tired yet?
No, no. A little high, but other than that, we're fine.
Some blackberries, and so we also have this blueberry bourbon conserve. So we just started carrying this at the Essex, and we've partnered with the Vermont Harvest to have our own line of different jams and jellies. This stuff is delicious. So
It
we're gonna
sounds wonderful.
scoop some of this right on top.
Blueberry
of the
bourbon?
berries. Blueberry bourbon.
All right.
So this is gonna go right centered over the berries.
Am I doing all right?
You're doing great.
I can't come on Wednesday nights. Other times I'm free.
Every night we have classes.
Okay.
And we also do private classes, birthday parties, things like that.
Fun.
So the other thing that we're
Jealous,
going to
I am.
finish this with is crystallized violet, which is, so if you take violet flowers and you paint the individual petals with sugar water and a little egg white mixed in, then you just let it air dry for about 24 hours, it's going to form sugar crystals on those petals. And you can even leave the flowers whole and they make a really beautiful garnish on top of a dessert. Or what we do is kind of grind them up to make these sugar granules.
And they are delicious.
She
So
had
you
a whole
feeling that
bunch.
thicken
She
it all?
thought they were
Yes,
pop
I do.
rocks.
Yeah?
You want to feel it?
Sure, let's see.
Do you think?
It's getting there, yeah. If we turn that
Turn-
water up just a little bit.
See, it's
You know,
easy
she
for-
always has the chef take over. That's
I
her
know.
MO.
Well, I've got the better angle here, so I can kind of see
And we
down.
want it to come out right. True,
Perfect.
don't we?
Jimmy,
Exactly.
got that angle, baby? You good?
How's that?
Oh, now
Well,
I
the
can
camera's
see
over
that.
there.
So yeah, you're whisking air into it, which is helping thicken it and make it nice and foamy, and then the act of cooking it is also going to help thicken that as well.
That's
So
amazing. That's not a lot of ingredients either,
nope,
is
it's
it?
really
No.
easy to
Yeah.
make.
That's what we like.
That's right.
Very easy
Yeah.
and delicious, and it impresses everyone because it's super light. It's good in the summertime and the spring. Over you know, if you go to one of the local farms around here and pick some berries.
Perfect.
Very good. And these are delicious. I've been eating those by the fingerful.
She's
and
going
they're
back to
very
the pop
nice.
rocks.
Pardon me?
Nothing.
All right, so I'm going to have you continue doing this. This
Okay.
has got about 3 to 4 more minutes left.
Oh my goodness!
And
I
while
think
you're
I can
doing
last.
that, I'm going to have him help me start the next dish over here. How's it
Okay.
sound?
Fine.
So we're going to pickle some vegetables for our pickled fiddlehead and vegetable salad. So we have cucumbers that we're going to pickle, as well as cauliflower, and then at the end, fiddleheads. So the cauliflower, you'll notice, is kind of a neon pink right there in the middle. We're going to slice up some beets and mix it in, and that just helps color. It's not really going to affect the flavor much, but it's going to add a nice neon pink color and make the salad really bright. You're
She's
doing great.
done.
Am
She's
I?
almost
Doing
done.
great. It's getting there. It's close.
All right.
So the first thing that you need to do is to de-seed the cucumber, and then we're going to dice it nice and small.
De-seed, so you want me to scrape it?
Yep, and I'll grab a bowl here for you to put all the scrapings into.
Or you going to bring it back to the farm?
There you go. Compost everything.
I resemble that remark.
This
So-
is getting thick.
Yep, you're almost there.
You
Here,
feel.
I think that's what it's supposed to do, Carol. Is that good?
Oh, that's very good,
Beautiful.
Tony. You missed your calling.
Roof. All right.
Perfect.
Why are you doing that for her?
Well, good. It just wants
She
to make
finished
sure it
it
comes
all
out
by
good.
herself. Look how beautiful that is. So that's
That's a
what we
beautiful
want
That's
it
thing.
to look
very
like. Yep.
nice. I can't believe that turned out like that, however.
All right, so
Well, we are a cooking
turn
show,
this-
supposed to do that.
I know, but that's just egg and.
so
you
I'll
know.
plate one and then you do the other one.
Sure, be glad
All
to.
right.
Yeah.
So you want to bring the glass over to the bowl just so it doesn't dip over the side.
I'll do this one too.
Will you be looking in case I have to
Sure, sure.
lap with my finger or anything?
There you go. So that's for you.
Oh,
I'm so glad
give
we
you this
don't
bowl.
bake.
And then we sprinkle just a bit of this here over the top.
oh, look at that. Beautiful.
So here, why don't you do this one here?
All right. Okay.
I'm done with you.
Okay, so small dice. You went to culinary school, right?
No.
No?
I got kicked out of every school I went to.
So a small dice, you're gonna have a 1/4 inch by a 1/4 inch. So when we were in school the first year, we would just sit there in our dorm rooms on textbooks with onions and carrots, dicing everything while we're watching TV for hours on end. And they'll take a ruler in every test that you take and make sure that your dices are exact. And if not, you got to go back and do it again.
Well, you're not going to do that tonight, are you?
Well, yeah. All right, so really simple, keeping your left fingers curled in. You want them to touch the blade while you're cutting. That way you know where the blade is at all time. You're going to cut down 1/4 inch strips. And then you're going to turn those strips to the side. Now remember, you're right-handed?
Yeah.
So you keep your thumb and your forefinger on the blade and then 3 fingers around the handle. And your left hand is curled in just slightly like this, touching the knife. That way you can slice, and then if somebody calls your name, you can look up like this or over here and keep slicing. Don't recommend that you do that, though.
Don't look up, Tony,
So
whatever
what you're
you
going to do
do.
is about 1/4 inch here. See, just like this.
That's
There
an
you go.
art,
And then
you
you're
know.
going to put
That is
all
really
of
an art.
these in this jar for me.
Okay. With my right hand.
What, how
That
they do?
looks beautiful.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
So that's our dessert right
Isn't
there.
that easy?
All right, keep talking to Carol.
Oh, we're done. It's all on you now.
Uh-oh.
No, you guys got to talk. I got to concentrate.
Oh.
So while he's doing that, we're going to pickle as well some cauliflower. And you want to dice this very small. So the pieces need to be about a 1/4 inch, same size as the cucumber. What we're going to do is bring vinegar to a boil and pour it over the vegetables. Boil it over the vegetables.
Boil it over.
But you want it small enough where the act of just pouring boiling liquid over will cook them. If they're cut too big, let's say like this piece right here, you want to break in half, it's not going to actually
Do you
cook
want me
the
to work
vegetable.
on that a little bit?
Sure.
There you go. Because he's running a little slow, don't you think?
But he's doing a great job.
Well, good. Don't overdo it now, Tony.
And we also have some fiddleheads over
What?
here.
Ah, no. Fiddleheads, yes. Now, that's a very short season, isn't it?
It is. So what fiddleheads are the fern at the very early stages in its life before it's actually opened up and started to sprout leaves into a small plant. So you want to pick them at that stage just before it starts to open, which is days. So you kind of have to walk through the forest looking for patches of them that are at that certain point where they're still nice and tight, because once you pick them, they're going to open up a little bit still, and you pick them nice and close to the ground. But they're really delicious. You know, you can blanch them in hot water, cook them with butter. They have a buttery taste to begin with already. So sauteing them in even more butter is going to make it taste better, obviously.
Good,
How's
okay.
it going?
Fine.
I don't
How'd
want to
you
talk
do?
too fast. I want to give you enough time.
No. Keep talking.
So have you ever had kumquats before?
No.
No.
Oh, I have. We used to have those when we
Yeah?
were kids. Yeah.
So this is what we're going to use to garnish the top. It's kind of a mini orange shaped like a grape, and you eat the whole thing. So I'm going to give this to you. You try that. You've cut plenty. This is going to be perfect. Just pop the whole thing in your mouth and try it.
Oh, gee. Cut.
What do you think? A little sour? So they're great. I love them. I can eat these like grapes, but they're very, very sour to begin with. And then at the end,
You
now
get
it's getting a
over.
little sweet, right?
Oh, yeah.
But a friend of mine said they were kind of like the Sour Patch Kid of the fruit world. So those are going to garnish the top there.
Here. Yeah. There you go. That'll get the taste. How did I, is this small enough?
That is beautiful. So I'm going to give this to you.
Better.
Okay.
So you did great. Perfect. So she's going to go ahead and put the cauliflower in that jar. And then you are going to do the last part, fiddleheads.
Do you want
Fiddleheads.
this filled?
About 3/4.
All right.
And while you do that, if you want to turn your vinegar on to boil there.
Oh.
So let's move it to the center one, because I think those induction burners were giving us a little trouble earlier.
Oh, well, let's see. Let's put it in the front one.
There we go. Okay.
That one's over there.
I knew that.
Whose stove is this?
I don't know. Oh, 1, 2, 3,
There.
4. There I am.
Did you find it?
Yeah, I did.
This
Okay.
looks absolutely blueberry bourbon. Doesn't that
So
sound
fiddleheads
good?
in that jar.
How many?
About 3/4 full.
Okay. So where did you find this recipe?
So this is just something I came up with as an alternative to a traditional salad. I really love fiddleheads, but they've always had that buttery smooth flavor, and I was trying to think of something that's kind of an alternative to that buttery smooth. So these are very tangy and tart.
Can I try one now?
Of course, yeah.
I'm trying this.
All right, that's hot.
All right, it's getting there. So
You can taste the bourbon in that, you know what?
Oh,
Okay, you
guys-
want this one too?
Yep, thank you. Perfect.
There's my
Okay,
one.
so the last thing we need to do is, you know what, I'm going to do this part.
Oh.
He's seen the show.
So this is what's
Oh,
called,
that's
Oh,
boiling.
dear, the vinegar's boiling.
no worries, it's all right.
I know. I wasn't worried.
So this is what's called a quick pickling method. Usually pickles, you're going to take whole cucumbers, put them in a jar, let them sit for weeks on end until they pickle. So we're going to cut our vegetables very small and then add all of our ingredients to the jars to where we pour over the boiling liquid, and it pickles almost within an hour.
Oh my goodness.
So,
that is.
we have the sliced up beet in there just to add a little bit of color. So we're going to add in each one of these all of the pickling ingredients.
What?
So
These
some
are
dried dill,
Dill? Okay.
caraway seeds.
You
Yep.
don't
Caraway
have
seeds.
to seal these, or
Yep, so you'll seal them after, and it's going to form an airtight seal.
Oh.
They last for about a week in the refrigerator, unless you want to go through a full canning and jarring process.
That-
but
that's what I
we're not
wanted.
actually boiling the outside of the can or anything like that. It's caraway and then fennel seeds,
Fennel seeds.
and finally whole mustard seeds.
Whole mustard seeds.
So what I'm going to have you do now is take that boiling hot pan of liquid and split that between these 3 jars.
is it hot?
It's hot.
Would you like a pot holder?
No, I don't need a pot holder.
Well, you said it was hot.
It's hot. Not the. Right? A little more.
Beautiful, perfect.
Perfect.
It's great, looks fabulous.
Look at that. There, good job.
beautiful.
Oh, I'm impressed.
Oh, quiet you.
So go ahead and shake that one a little bit so they can see the color.
After I put the cover on, right?
Yes, yes. So you can see it starts to dye pink. Now I did these ones last night, so that's how pink it's going to get overnight. It's pretty vibrant. And then there's this one right here for you.
Is that easy or what?
We're done.
That's the easiest canning. It's not like my mother used to do.
All right, so,
So
we're all
now-
done. Now
Yep.
we're going to, what?
Plate up the
Make a
Oh,
salad.
we got to plate it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you help me out a little bit, okay?
All right.
Or if you'd like, Carol can help me out.
No, I'll help you. That's her side. This is my side.
I'll just sit here and eat the bourbon.
So while we're plating up, I'm going to go ahead and pour some olive oil in this pot. So we're going to make citrus oil. I'm going to slice just a small piece of this orange and throw that in the oil, and we're going to turn that to heat on high. And
Hi.
we want to simmer that for, usually we'd simmer it for about 10 minutes to get the full essence of the orange in there.
I could put it on that induction. It'd be faster.
Sure. And while that's simmering, we can go ahead and plate everything else up here.
That's hot.
I'm going to turn that off.
Right there.
There I go. We're going to plate up. Do you have some plates? You have a, you
Yep,
use
right
that
there.
plate. Okay. All right.
So this ring mold is going to help us keep all the ingredients to the salad in the center.
And we need that. It's getting hot.
Oh.
What's that?
But it's so pretty. That's what I'm thinking. You know, it just looks pretty, and it looks
Whoa.
so.
Going
I don't
okay?
know.
Oh, it's getting hot.
Perfect. So some cucumbers. And we want it to kind of look like a rainbow in the end, so we're going to alternate the colors here. So now I'm going to go over here and turn that on low.
I'm going to turn that.
I just don't want the grease to splatter out on it.
I know.
Oh. Okay. It's not going to do much for the top of your head.
I know.
Oh, that's so pretty. There.
All right, do you want to throw some fiddleheads on there?
Oh.
Sure. Me?
Yep.
Now,
That's
in
that
the
one right there.
kitchen at the restaurant.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. When you're in the kitchen at the restaurant, do you prepare these ahead of time, these salads?
So a
before-
salad like this, we would have all of the pickled ingredients in a separate pan on the overhead cooler. And then when the order comes in, because it's so fast, you're
I
just going to
see.
go through and add each ingredient.
You would do it
Yeah.
each separately then.
And when we lift up this ring mold, the ingredients are going to kind of spread out a little bit. This just helps us get it nice and
I
centered.
see. I see.
Like us, Carol.
Yep, that's perfect
Yeah,
right there.
that's right.
Gets us nice and center. We
Oh,
were sitting in the ring before
Yeah.
the show.
So throw a few radishes on this, and then we're going to slice up one of these
Oh, really? One of those?
delicious kumquats here.
Oh, isn't that pretty?
So this gets lifted up.
Oh, look at that.
And then lastly, you're going to take some of that orange oil and just kind of drizzle it around. And that's it.
Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Oh,
Can you see it? Oh, wonderful. All right, well,
that's beautiful.
we'll be right back. We're going to go to a little station break, and we have two more recipes.
Yep.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the recipes used on New England Cooks and to view this episode again or past New England Cooks programs, visit newenglandcooks.com. Now, back to New England Cooks with Carol and Tony.
Okay, now we have a lot to do, Chef Anthony. So dive right
Oh,
into
boy.
it.
All right, so the first thing we're going to do
We're
is
not
make
doing surgery, Carol.
homemade pasta.
Yes, I am.
Well, she
Right?
doesn't want to get her hands dirty.
Okay.
Well, it's not dirty.
So this pasta recipe that we're going to make, we're going to use all-purpose flour because most people have that at home in your pantry. You can use durum or semolina flour and it's going to have a bit more bite, but we wanted to use something that you have at home. So 2.5 cups of that, 3 egg yolks and 3 whole eggs are going to go right in the center. And then about a tablespoon of olive oil, very exact measurements here. Okay?
Yes, I can see that. But that's
And-
Seen the
exactly
show.
what.
Just a pinch of salt. So you're going to start stirring that around, getting that all mixed in nice together into a dough.
A deer?
A female deer.
It's very mucky. Okay, go for it.
Go for it. All right, so we're going to let her keep going. She needs to do that for about 10 minutes or until her biceps get to about that size.
They're pretty big.
So while she's doing that, let's jump over and start the meat. So Queen City braised beef shank. Beef shank's kind of a tricky meat to find bone in at a grocery store. If you have a butcher or a local meat person you can go to, that's the way to do it. If not, you can get boneless short ribs or bone-in short ribs. Those are a really great braising meat. But what I'm going to have you do right off the bat is season this. So nice and high to get even coverage.
Of course.
Right, there you go. Perfect. Salt and pepper, and you want to do both sides completely.
Yep.
Would you tell me again what cut these are?
So this is beef shank.
Shank.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, cuts like this have a lot of connective tissue in them, so they work much better for braising. You're going to cook this down for upwards of 2 to 3 hours, and all that connective tissue is going to break down, and the meat itself will be fork tender. It's going to fall right off the bone. How we doing over
Perfect.
here?
I don't know. You tell me.
Looking pretty good. So I'm
Our
going to
audience
take
usually
this,
falls off the chair at the end of the show.
and you're going to change out into a clean set of gloves.
Okay. Wait, I gotta peel off some of this stuff. Okay.
All right. Now, while you do that, I'm going to bring this together.
Oh, that's what you wanted.
Yeah. So
Mushing.
you want to knead this. And this is really great for children because you can't over knead or mess up this dough. So it's really good to just let them dispense all of their energy on it.
That I can do. There.
All right, I'm done.
All right. I'll be right with you in just a moment.
You want me to turn on this pan?
Yes, actually.
Thank you.
So you're going to knead it by pushing down, give it a quarter turn, and fold it in half, and push down again, and just
Okay.
keep going and going and going.
All right.
Come on, Carol. You can do it.
I can do it.
Okay, so this is on medium-high.
I got it on high.
Perfect. So have you ever heard of dredging meat before?
I've dredged.
You've dredged?
I've
Perfect.
dredged.
So we need to dredge this. So we have seasoned all-purpose flour. You're going to take each cut
And
and,
dredge
just
it.
dredge it in the flour. And this has twofold purpose. What it's going to do is dry out the meat so we can get a nice crust on the outside.
Yep.
And also the flour is going to help thicken the sauce.
Thicken. It's going to thicken the sauce. You got that, Jim? I'm dredging, Jim.
And I'm going to reach over you real quick and steal this oil. So we decided to braise. Ooh, that's nice and hot.
Yeah, well, you know, it is a Viking pan and a Viking cooktop and a
It's a little
Viking ad.
And now we have Viking smoke.
There you go.
That would be a Viking funeral.
So we'll let that cool down just for a minute so no one gets hurt when we go and lay the meat in there.
I've dredged.
All right, so now we are going to lay each piece in. And you want to get a nice dark brown crust on the outside of this.
You want your dong? Oh, you got your dong.
Oh, these are for you.
Okay.
He brought his own. Did you bring your own tongs?
I did.
Not going there. We got an intern in the back room. Okay, so she's doing that. I think she's
Yep.
about ready to pass
How am I
out.
doing here? Am I
You're
doing
doing
all
great.
right?
About 15, 20 more minutes and you'll be there. Let's see.
Okay.
So what we're looking for with this, let me just steal this for you for a minute. We're developing the glutens in the dough. So when you go and you take your thumb and you push down in the dough, you
Okay.
want that hole to pop back out.
It didn't pop.
So you got to keep going and going.
Boy, Carol, my job is really tough. Let me turn it up a little bit.
Yep, you can turn it up a little bit.
Oh, let me just kick it up, okay?
Don't burn it now. So you see that nice brown crust that
Oh,
we got
Hold it
going
to
on
the
there?
camera. Hold it to the camera.
Sorry?
Beautiful.
That's what we're looking for. So you can go ahead and turn these now and get the other side going. That looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and stop. And with TV magic, we have some that's already made right there.
Oh, look at
Look at how
that.
great that looks.
Huh?
So naturally, we would take this and wrap it in plastic or put a damp cloth over it and let it rest for at least a half an hour.
Uh-huh.
So what she did when she was kneading that dough was develop the gluten. So if you think like Velcro, it comes together, it hooks like this, and it's nice and tight. If we were to go and try to roll this through the pasta maker, it would just shrink back up into a ball. So you want to let the glutens relax a little bit
Uh-huh.
after you've kneaded it. So now when we roll this through the pasta maker, it's going to stay nice and flat.
I see. See
So
the
I'm gonna
difference,
set
how
this
it
back
looks.
Here. Here, I can clean all of this off for you. Get
Here's
it
a
out of the way.
basket right here.
Thank you, Chef.
I want to give you a nice clean work area.
There we go. Chefs are fussy about that. They
So-
always have towels going.
Always work clean, right? How are we looking
Yeah.
over here?
I'm looking pretty good.
Yeah? How's the meat looking?
How's that? How's that?
Good.
It
So
smells good,
you see all
Tony.
that nice color on the bottom of the pan there?
Yep.
That's called fond, F-O-N-D. So what we're going to do when we go in and add that beer to that, it's going to scrape up all that flavor and it's going into the sauce.
Perfect. Fond.
Fond.
Dong? Fond. Okay.
It smells very good, doesn't it, huh?
It does.
Perfect. Add a little more oil. It's just looking a little black on the bottom there.
Yep.
Okay. Have you ever made pasta before?
I did once a long time ago, but I haven't for a while.
Perfect. So this pasta maker right here, you can get the basic hand pasta makers. A lot of stores have them. They're anywhere from $30 to $40. Or if you have a KitchenAid mixer at home and they make an attachment that goes on that one, that thing's a lifesaver. Just make sure you don't have your mixer set to 10 when you turn it on. Otherwise, it just it goes crazy. So we're going to use about half of this because we're just going to make
Okay.
one portion to plate up. So you want to take it and squeeze the bottom part into a small piece that's going to go through this. Make sure this is on the widest setting, which is 0, and you're just going to start turning that clockwise.
Okay.
That's right here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to push this right through the pasta roller.
You ready?
Yep.
Okay, here we go.
Keep going. You're doing great.
Boy, Carrie, you're getting all the hard jobs tonight.
It's the
I'll
ones that
send it
take
through
the
again.
power.
Now I'm going to take it and fold it into thirds just to make it nice and square because you notice it was kind of oblong shaped.
Uh-huh.
And we're going to send it through again.
I keep hitting you.
No worries. Perfect.
Is he
So you
doing
notice
okay
he's doing great.
over there? Be all right?
So each time you do that, you want to touch the dough, see if there's any sticky parts to it,
Okay.
and then just kind of dust it with flour. Not a whole lot, but just enough to make it so it goes through the pasta machine and doesn't seize up at all. So keep rolling it through. Great. So now we've gone through about 4 times. We're going to move to number 1 and send it through. We're going to go twice on each number now. So once.
Now, Anthony,
Yep.
you're catching the dough.
True.
I tried doing that by myself.
Yeah?
Didn't really work out
No?
well.
You want to try doing it by yourself?
No, that doesn't work.
No.
Doesn't really work that well. He already told me that. Ready?
Yep.
Here we go. I can do this part. Whoop.
Perfect. So now we're going to move it up 1 and go through. How are we looking over there?
I'm done.
You're done? All right, we're going to pause on this dough for a moment.
Now, you know you can buy this in a box, so.
Sure, it just doesn't taste as good, though.
Oh, okay. Just wanted
Okay,
to make
so-
sure you knew.
That looks beautiful. Now you're going to take that out and put that in the pan,
Okay.
and we're going to start our braise in this pan.
Okay.
So we have about 2 tablespoons of oil left on the bottom of the pan, and if you are a little low, you can add a bit more. You're going to go ahead and add about a cup of each of those vegetables, carrots, celery, and onions.
A cup.
Yeah, so about half of that right in
Okay.
there.
All right. You're going to add more olive oil to
Nope,
it?
we got about 2 tablespoons, just enough to coat the bottom of the pan.
That's going to smell good, I can tell.
Oh, yeah.
As you see, I'm
Look
carefully
at you go.
measuring.
Look at you go.
And this is called mirepoix. So onions, carrots, and celery are the basis of most French sauces and soups. Beautiful. And now you can really turn the heat up high if it's not on high yet.
Hi, now.
Perfect. So you start scraping a lot of that.
Do you want me
I'm
to
going to give
scrape?
this to you. Yep, scrape all that flavor off there.
I'm scraping. You keep pressing.
Am I supposed to roll some more?
If you
Well-
feel confident and can, do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, girl.
Shall I try it once?
So I'm going to add some crushed garlic to that right there.
Garlic.
About
Where is
4
it?
cloves, and they can be
There
whole
it
because
is.
this is going to cook for about 2 hours
I'm not Italian,
in
you
your oven,
know.
so it will cook down the whole clove. You're not going to get a whole bite there.
Whoa,
Look at you go.
Carol.
Look at that!
Beautiful. So now you dust both sides with
I
flour,
couldn't do it.
and then you send it through again.
Oh, okay. You're getting a little pushy on this, you know.
All right, I'm scraping.
Beautiful. Okay, so you have garlic, onions, carrots. You want to cook till it starts to sweat and get just translucent. Not so much that it's actually dried or turning
Oh boy,
brown. How you doing over here?
Just fell on the way.
I said, I
You
didn't
know,
see
Carol and
anything.
I worked a
you
scooter
go.
once going around the horn. They never
So I'm
asked
gonna
us
have
back
you
again.
go ahead and add that tomato paste to that sauce.
Whole thing?
Yep, whole thing. I can't really leave her alone over here.
Oh my goodness. I was doing fine till I lost the handle.
Okay, so now we're going to jump to 6, and this is usually about where we want to stop. So let's send this through a few times and see what it looks like.
Is it coming through?
Now we're going to cook this until it starts to darken and turn brown and kind of have a nutty aroma to it.
Okay.
Oh, boy, does that smell good.
So you tell me when it starts to smell nutty.
Pretty darn close to
Going
nutty.
The other way.
One more time. Perfect. So the thickness that we're looking for on this pasta, it's number 6 on this, but all the pasta makers are a little different. You want to look at the dough and you can kind of see your fingers just barely show through the pasta dough. And that's a really great thickness for like sliced pastas, filled pastas like ravioli, things like that. Lasagna sheets, I usually go just a little bit thicker because you're going to actually build on it, so you want to have some sturdiness to it. But this is perfect.
I'm nutty.
Perfect.
How are you doing? Oh, that looks very good. What a guy.
So the next thing we are going to add is the Queen City Yorkshire Porter.
Oh,
So you're going to add about half of this bottle, 12 ounces or so. So go ahead and now all of that scrapiness on the bottom will come right off.
ooh. What are you going to do
Smells
with the
really
rest
good,
of that? Keep stirring, keep stirring. You're losing your...
I ain't gonna go to waste. You want a hit?
No. Ooh. No, thank you. I'm busy here.
Doing what?
Well,
So once this reduces down and
Retrieving the
thickens a little
handle.
bit, you can go ahead and add half of that beef stock, which is in the pitcher right there.
Just half of it.
Yep.
And now, in your recipe, you say veal stock.
Veal stock or beef stock, they both work. We
All right,
use
but you said beef stock, and our recipe we're handing out says veal,
veal stock.
Thank you, front row. You can use either or either.
Either or. So this is beef stock that we made at the restaurant. Any of the 5 kitchens.
I'm not threatening you.
I'm
just.
Any of the 5 kitchens we have on property, if they use any kind of meats and they have scraps left over, so chicken, veal, beef, they send that down to our prep kitchen, and we have a giant 5-foot steam-jacketed kettle. So they fill that up with mirepoix, which are the vegetables you have in there, some different herbs and seasonings, and then all of that meat scraps, and they let it simmer for 24 hours, and then strain it through the bottom.
All right, I
So
can
you go ahead
add
and, yep, add all of that in there.
that's getting
this
hot.
half of it, right? Or
Half of it. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
done.
He didn't say so.
Now you're done.
I was anticipating that, Carol.
Huh?
How's the dough?
Look at that. Look at
And
that.
then you can add your meat back into that now.
I do that.
You're very good with those tongs.
Family show.
And then crank the heat up to as high as it can go. We want to bring it up to a simmer.
It's on high already.
Perfect.
I knew that.
All right, so we are going to make,
Here,
Cut
what
this.
are we gonna make? What are we
We're
making?
going to make pasta.
what kind of pasta?
Yeah.
You got it. So this is pappardelle pasta.
I feel like I'm on Jeopardy.
Kind?
Pappardelle.
Oh, I wouldn't have
pappardelle.
remembered that anyway, so it's okay.
So it's going to be about, I usually go about a thumb width or so, about an inch or so.
Okay.
So you're going to take, and I cut this into larger pieces and stack them on top of each other.
So does pappardelle mean this shape or?
Yeah, so that's one certain type of pasta, and
I
it's a thick, long noodle.
Okay. Okay.
And then now that we have a stack here, we can go ahead and cut about 1-inch strips, and they're going to be much more uniform as if we tried to cut it all individually.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure, sure.
Extra.
Really, yeah.
Sure.
There we
Yeah,
go.
sure.
Okay.
And we're almost at a boil here. So
I'm
the
cranked
one
up.
You're doing a good job.
thing that is kind of like my pet peeve with pasta water, the different things people add to it. So olive oil in pasta water,
I don't do that
I've never
anymore.
really understood it. I mean, it just floats on the top. It doesn't actually mix with
Right.
the water, so there's no point in doing it. The one thing, though, that I find a great friend of mine who's actually on the other side of the wall over there told
Anthony too?
me, Anthony number 2. So you want to salt it so it tastes like the ocean.
Right.
Yeah, so heavily salt the water. So you see kind of people that'll go like this, and then I'm just going to come over and dump like
Oh, wow.
half of that in there. Because there's about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in the dough, but you really want most of that flavor to be picked up through the boiling water. And then this is fresh pasta, so it's going to take all of about 3 minutes to cook in this water. You think dried pasta, most of that time is spent rehydrating the pasta that's dried, and then it finally cooks, whereas this is already rehydrated, so it's going to cook in about 3 minutes or so.
Do you have a plate? Yes, you have a plate.
We got it ready.
We have a plate ready. Okay.
So-
So I'm just going to
Yep.
let this sit for 2 hours.
Nope, so
You're going to put that in there?
it's almost coming to a simmer, so you're going to go ahead and grab the cover, and then we're going to put it in a 325-degree
You
oven.
want me to grab the cover
Grab
by
the
Alex?
cover. Yep.
All right. Alex, can I have the color? Oh, all right. Fine. Just stand there. Look pretty.
He's worthless, isn't he?
Yeah. Some
So
things
I'll
just
grab the-
don't change.
He never did do what you told him to do,
No.
did it?
If you want to come over here with that, is it hot?
This right here?
Yep.
Ow. No, it's fine.
And then we've got some that's already made, so you can go in the oven with that.
Going into the Viking oven
Oh, there it is.
with the Viking pan next to the worthless sun.
I'm going to leave this right here so you know that handle's really hot. It just came out of the oven.
Yep, okay. Or
My water's boiling.
Perfect. So you can go ahead and throw all of that pasta in there, and I'm going to
Do you
stir
want me
it
to
right away.
separate it?
Yep.
or I could use my silicone handle.
There you go. Will that fit?
Oh. Oh, look at that.
Oh, just melted. Joking.
So we'll let that sit for about 3 minutes, and let's
Okay.
go ahead and get rid of all of
All
this here, and
right.
we can plate up.
You want this over here?
Yep, we are all set with that.
All set?
A chef and his towels never shall part, right?
Exactly.
What do you use, Carol?
What do I use?
Yeah.
It-
Paper towels?
No, I use a dishcloth.
A dishcloth. Well, this is a little bit bigger.
I know it. I know it's the same
So
thing.
you use that
Yeah.
little dishcloth?
Well, no, I have a big one.
You have a big one? All right.
And I can't tell you how many times I get in trouble at home for using the decorative dishcloths that hang on the oven,
Yeah, I know.
and then they get home and they're just covered in all sorts of stuff. All right, we are about 30 seconds left.
30 seconds.
30 seconds or so.
This
You only-
looks
you-
wonderful.
you only have
Did
15.
everybody get to see this? Did
No,
they-
you're going to see in a minute once we plate
Yeah.
it up. And Chef, I think you can plate it up over there if you want.
Sure, of
That'd
course.
be closer to
Closer to the
Jim.
camera. Okay, so this is for you.
Wow, does that look good?
Doesn't it look good? I did a good job,
Try to get as
didn't I,
much
huh?
water out of there as we can. Beautiful.
It's a beautiful thing, Carol.
I know.
And I'm going to reach behind me and get a pair of tongs. To
I
help
got
you
a
out.
pair.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
So you're going to go ahead
Thanks,
and toss
Alex.
this in just, a little bit of olive oil.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now you do the olive oil. You don't do it in the water, but you do it now.
True,
How
so
do
it
you
doesn't
open these
stick.
things?
They're gravity tongs, so you got to hold them like that.
Oh,
They're the worst invention in the world.
they are. I was trying to pull that little thing up.
And then you can go ahead and just put that right there in
Okay.
the center. And if
Just
you
a
would like to
pile of it,
grab
huh?
the cheese and the slicer over there.
The cheese and the slicer. I got it, Alex.
So that's been simmering for about 2.5 hours or so. Once it comes out of the oven, you're going to take all the meat out, and it's naturally,
We just move that
sure.
out of the way.
and it's
There.
going to start shredding and falling off of the bone. So it's going to look kind of like this if you all
Doesn't
can
that
see
look
it.
good? Oh,
They're making the yummy sound.
I
Chef.
know. Where's my fork?
Okay, so all that's on there. So we're going to go ahead and put a generous portion right on top there.
Your cheese.
Thank you,
And
sir.
spice.
Your cheese, sir. And this is
Parmigiano.
Parmesan.
And there we go. That's for you.
Thank you.
And that's it right there.
Oh, isn't that something? Look at that, everybody.
And we're done.
We are
Yes.
done.
Yes.
Folks, stay right back. We're going to be pairing some great wines and beers with this. Great job.
Good job.
For the recipes used on New England Cooks and to view this episode again or past New England Cooks programs, visit newenglandcooks.com. Now, back to New England Cooks with Carol and Tony.
You rock.
Thank you.
You rock.
Good job.
No, you guys
Good
did all
job.
the work.
Wonderful job.
No, we
Wonderful
didn't.
job.
No, she broke the handle.
I didn't break it,
I
it just fell
salted
out.
it, all right. We have Donald McDonald from Farrell Distributors. Let's give it up for him.
Thank you.
These people wait for this segment.
Yeah, yeah. What did you bring? Look at that.
I
It
brought a
looks-
bunch of things to pair with this lovely food today. We might as well jump right in. I'm going to start like the chef did with dessert. We're going to start with a La Marca Prosecco. This one would be a beautiful little pairing with the Sabione. This is a sparkling wine from the north of Italy, in the Veneto region. Point it right at your host. Actually, don't. Always point at 45-degree angle away from everyone. Twist
Yes.
the bottom, hold the top. Still,
Yeah, through the glass in the cupboard
No,
there.
hand
Oh,
on top.
Oh, okay.
let the pressure just push it out for you. And you should just whisper.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
Yay. You did this before, I can tell.
Only a couple times.
So you weren't going to savor it like.
I have done many a sabering. I thought we'd save the floor. I like the wine. You lose a little bit when you saber.
There you
I'll make sure you have enough, though. So, again, pear flavors in this Prosecco. There we go. Natural
Thank
light
you.
fruity. You got it. There you
Thank
are.
you.
You're welcome. Sir,
Thank you.
nice crisp acidity. Prosecco is one of the most popular sparklers out there right now for good reason. It's like light,
that
very
is good.
delicate, fresh fruit components, not very yeasty like a champagne where you have a much more autolytic components to it.
You doing all right there, fella?
I'm listening to it, but when I
Swirling,
stick my head in there, I can't hear.
It's got
Well, you're not supposed to put your whole head in there. Just get your nose in, that's all
My
that
nose
matters.
does it. All right, all right, all right. The reason why they give me this glass, give me that.
yeah.
I can give you close. Got that? You got that? See? It doesn't work. Use it as a straw.
If you're not careful, it might get stuck.
True.
You know.
Hi, doctor. Can you remove this, please?
So again, light, lovely, perfect
This
for
is
dessert.
very good.
You can even start your meal with this, you know, whenever all the guests arrive to finishing up or straight through. I like sparkling all the time with everything. So,
Oh, jeez.
and
I
so-
don't spit. I do pour.
Aw.
I know. Big sigh in the audience. Oh my God.
So next up, that I'm going to be pairing two with the salad course here, and obviously you have good acidity level in the salad, obviously with pickling and all the rest.
No.
Oh, you
Oh,
want
yeah,
you want in
no,
there?
no,
No, this
you
is
mean that one.
sparkling.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought-
yeah. I think I know what I'm doing.
You have to have the right glass.
Absolutely, for the right purposes. We're going to be trying something that's made in Vermont here, Eden Sparkling Semi-Dry Cider. This is made up in Newport, Vermont, using all local Vermont apples. Very beautiful style. They actually, in 2015, were rated the #1 cidery in the country by Rate Beer magazine, so a lot of prestige. They've gotten some amazing press scores. Just a family-owned and operated property up there. They have their own tasting room. The brewery's downstairs in the tasting room right on Main Street in Newport. This one, they do two different styles here with this. So they take the first batch and they age the cider for a year in barrel. Then the next harvest season, they make a fresh one and start fermenting that and start adding the barrel sample back in. So it's 50% fresh new vintage and 50% 1 year old. And then at the end, it's fermented in the bottle. They do a traditional method, champagne style, so they actually will then disgorge by hand, and that means blowing the yeast out of it and then recapping it and selling it. So for this little tiny bottle, a lot of effort and a whole year and a half worth of time in this. So lovely, lovely sparkling cider, made in a wine style, but you guys could be the judge of that.
Thank you.
And then at the finishing part, the reason it's semi-dry is they'll take, they're really famous for their ice ciders as well. They do like frozen, they freeze the apples and then press it and make a fermentation, a very sweet wine, and or sweet cider, and then they will then take a little bit and blend it back in, so you get the sweetness from an ice cider. So
That's good.
Yeah, I like it because it's heavy enough to cut through all of that, acid from pickling, but it's still really light.
light, yep. You need that little honey because I noticed it's definitely on the tart side. So if you have a little touch of sweetness, it'll help offset it a little bit and balance off. Boy, those things did turn out the beautiful pink color.
Is that pretty?
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
again, this is great because it's also gluten-free, so people that can't have beer, maybe don't like wine, it's also something you could pair through the courses as well. It's nice, light, fresh, great style. All right. Unfortunately, you have to dump that one too. So next up, I'm
We're
always
dumping.
I know. Part like Tony did, he was drinking the beer while cooking. That's sort of
I
how
only took a sip.
I love cooking and drinking as well. That's sort of what you do. But you could, like in a great pairing, always, if you're cooking with a product, like either if you're cooking with a Cabernet, deglazing with a Cabernet, or deglazing with a beer, it also will pair beautifully with the meal as well. So an easy one. Porter sometimes is a little heavy for meals, although this is a lighter style. It's not as rich and thick as most porters. But that you could definitely pour this for the dinner time. But what I chose is kind of a German-style Munich Dunkel, which means dark beer, but it's a lager. So it's light and fresh, but still having nice maltiness, and there we go.
Thank you.
Just a
You're
little
welcome.
bit for me.
Absolutely.
Good, thanks.
So you can see the color. It's almost like an amber, golden. You'd think it'd be more like an ale, like Long Trail, like a local
Perfect.
brewery here. There you go.
Don't want to waste it.
They'll make more for you. That's just part of the brewery secret.
Whoa!
Yeah. So this one is actually brewed right on Pine Street in Burlington. Queen City Brewing. Great brewers. They're actually brewery judges as well. So they've got 25 years home brewing experience and just amazing guys. And just their whole thing is making European style beers in Vermont. So if you're doing a Bavarian style, they're making sure the water that would be in Munich, that exact pH level is exactly how they're brewing their beer. So the profile would be almost identical. So they're trying to mimic as close to old world styles as possible and using American ingredients for the most part. But yeah,
You like
great
that,
little
Tony?
stuff. Definitely worth popping by the
You like
tasting room if
that?
you're down in
I
Burlington
haven't
as well.
sipped it
Oh,
yet.
But this one's nice, easier, malty, low IBUs as far as hoppiness.
is that a sip?
I don't know if he likes it.
This would be kind of like your session beer
think?
kind of thing.
Good.
A sip.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
easy, malty.
Are they going to be at the Stowe Wine and Food Classic?
They will be. They will
Farrell
definitely
is
be.
one of our major sponsors at the Stowe Wine and Food Classic.
In
they've been
August.
their third
In August.
year in August.
Yeah.
And our website, which Jim's going to CG right here,
Yep.
go there, and we're going to have
Just launched yesterday, I think, the website
Yeah,
was up and
website.
running.
Yep.
So,
we're going to have Eden Cider.
Yep.
There,
yep, we'll have those. We're gonna have a lot of local breweries.
and I'll be there.
That's right.
All the reason to come.
3 days.
And there's
baby.
booze, so you can deal with it.
3 days. Actually, I walked out of the room when they were having a board meeting. I walked back in, and they made me president.
Oh, that'll teach you.
I missed that vote.
You were next. You were next. All right.
So again, the beer with the entree would be a beautiful pairing. Now we're gonna skip over to Wine World, and we're gonna jump into. Do you want me to give you a rinse on that?
Yeah, let's rinse.
There you go.
Thank you.
That's a traditional way
Oh,
to.
I'm supposed to do this.
The proper way to rinse is actually rinsing with the wine, not water. So if you're ever in a formal tasting room and people are rinsing with water, ideally you want to rinse with a wine, because if you end up rinsing with water and then you go to take the next sample, you always have a little bit of water left in, so you're kind of diluting the product. So
Oh,
at least with the
heavens.
wine.
So if
Yeah.
they're mixing with waters, you just go, you peasant.
Yeah. It's sort of like someone that smells the cork too much. There's no reason. It smells like a cork. All right. So what we're jumping into now, again, this would pair well with the salad. You could have this with the entree as well, but I think as far as a nice Russian River Chardonnay, This one's Virginia Dare. This is brand new to the market. This is actually a Francis Ford Coppola wine. So he just bought a new winery and is starting this whole new project. He's definitely loves his Americana, and so he kind of supports. Label is actually, in 1835, there was a winery down in North Carolina that was used this name. So he's brought back this old name that was one of the most popular wines back in the day, and producing this pretty high-end Chardonnay, Russian River fruit, French oak, 12 months. So you get nice malolactic components out of it. Nice little oak integration.
What do you think?
Buttery and lovely. So again,
That's
that
good.
Oh, that's
buttery
so
round.
smooth.
It's nice, isn't it? It is nice.
Oh my God!
And
you
has
guys
good
don't know what
acidity.
you're missing.
Yeah.
They're coming across.
Sorry.
They're
So
coming across.
sorry.
Not too oaky, so it doesn't overtake the food,
Really
but it's
butterscotchy. kind of.
butterscotchy, yeah. And that's that
not
malolactic.
done
I
Yeah,
feel
this
rude.
one.
Do you feel
No.
very rude, Tony?
No, I don't
we
feel
are
rude. I'm not dumping this one. This is my man, Francis Ford Coppola. Keith, it's our man.
Certainly
Yeah, he's
is.
ready.
Leave the
his
gun,
hand.
grab the cannolis.
Oh, that's good.
It is, yeah,
Yeah.
and you can't go wrong with just a regular, if you're going to a dinner party, a Chardonnay or Cabernet, most people in the world will drink one of those.
Good.
So kind of an easy pairing.
Very easy. I just have a little sip. So feel this.
So next up, last up, almost knock him over. That glass is too
Gosh,
big.
don't break his glass, whatever you do.
We're gonna try Joseph Carr. So we're going to do a Napa Valley Cabernet Sauvignon.
That'll finish it off. The red finishes it
The
off.
red finishes it off. You got to have a bold,
Oh,
big
I-
red.
I
Yeah,
gotta,
yeah.
oh, forget it.
Drink it.
What the heck? You're not going to know the difference.
For discerning palates.
guarantee. Drink.
Again, with a nice red meat. The idea of the whole Cabernet, definitely with pairing with red meat, is that tannin helps break down some of the fattiness and all the rest in the palate and help refresh the palate for each bite. And this one, definitely a Napa Valley, rich, big fruit, perfect for stews and braised goods. And this is definitely a little bit of oak. This has some American oak, 75% French oak, and about 18 months in there. So you get
Roy
nice
Officer only had one.
tannins.
And
Excellent.
people can buy this.
In Vermont.
That's so good.
And actually, except for the beer, I think the beer's not there yet, but mostly nationally.
Okay, good. That's so good. That's good.
And mostly boutique wine shops. Yeah.
Perfect.
You, I don't know if you can buy it though.
No, they keep carding me. All right, let's have Donald pull the first one. Now these
All
are
right.
all from the Essex.
Excellent.
I'm so upset. I want this. Okay, this is for a 50-minute massage at the Essex. Joni Argenti. Oh, Joni. Oh, Joni.
All right, Chef.
Okay, this is for cooking class for two. Oh, that'd be fun.
Oh, that'd be Anthony Ploof. Oh, no, I didn't turn it over.
Lisa Wright.
Lisa. Where are you, Lisa? Okay, I'll leave it right up here for you.
Okay, I'm going to pull this one.
Okay, this is for one night in a traditional guest room with dinner at the junction.
That's a pretty good
And the
one.
winner is Kurt Bailey. What
Perfect.
a show, guys.
Thank you so much.
You know,
Thank
now
you.
listen, now guys, we're on Facebook,
Right.
on NewEnglandCooks.com. Like us, share us, get us out there, all right? We're on Twitter, okay, so like us. I tweet once in a while. And my personal email, my personal Facebook is all the funny pictures are. And so, like these guys, because they're on Facebook, Twitter. You're on Facebook and Twitter.
Instagram, and
Instagram.
you name the media, we're there.
Like these guys, because these guys keep coming back and keeping the show
I'm on
live. This is the
Facebook.
end.
I'm on Facebook.
Carol, you're on Facebook. You show a picture of a plant. Boom. And I'm like, all right, better like it or she'll get mad.
That's right. I want to thank you for coming. It was wonderful.
Both of
Thank
you.
so much.
And
Thank
we'll
you.
see you next season.
Yeah.
God willing.
God willing.
All right,
Thank you.
guys.